Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be picking right back up with this little Datsun 200SX once again. And the lady that owns this car has just really been enjoying it. She's been driving it everywhere, and I'm really happy about that. She's finally getting to enjoy this car again, and it's just fantastic. Since the last video though, she has had new tires put on the car, and she's got the fuel tank empty enough to where we can pull it. So that's the big thing we're going to do on this video, is actually pull the fuel tank and do the rust treatment, and I'll show you how I do this. I've done the same thing to my 280Z fuel tank on my 76 Datsun, and so we'll be doing the same kind of treatment to this car, and it should take care of our problems. But I will show you, I've already got the trunk popped here. We'll go around here, and I've already pulled the access panel here. This is the panel that goes over the lines and everything here. There's your sending unit. I've already got it unplugged, and so we've got to move all that. But I've also got the shop manual here, and I'll show you the diagram here. So there is a different fuel tank I have found out between the hard top, which is what this car is, and the hatchback. They're actually a different fuel tank altogether. This one fills on the top of the hatchback, and the hardtop actually fills on the side. So two different tank designs. So what we've got to do is we've got to move all these lines here, and take this tank is actually held in with bolts. It doesn't have straps. So we take in the bolts, take off the bolts that hold the fuel tank once we get all the lines disconnected. Drop this tank and we'll start the process. But I'll kind of show you too what I use. So I've got the old bottle, because the new bottle isn't quite the same. But first of all, what I do, I use this right here. This is a piece I use to actually plug up the filler hole of the tank, because we're going to be filling it up with water. I know that sounds weird, filling the tank with water, but that's how this stuff works. I got some caps here to cap off the lines, so we can do that. Some more caps to seal off some lines. But this right here is what I use. Now this has got transmission fluid in it, but it's got the original label. So this is the stuff I use right here. Really great stuff. It did amazingly well on my 280Z tank. And what I like about it, it's actually, it doesn't etch the metal. So it actually cleans the rust off. It's a, I think they call it a gelating agent. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And basically it just, it eats the rust off, and it doesn't etch the metal, so there's no reason to do a coating on the inside. But here's what we got. We also got a stopper, so we can stop over the sending unit hole in the process. But here's what the stuff looks like. It actually comes now. This is the new stuff. It actually is like in a little bag like this right here. So that's what we'll be putting in the tank. And I think that treats up to 16 gallons. We're going to be mixing it strong because this tank's got a lot of rust in it. So we'll be mixing a little bit stronger than the 16 gallon. But that should take care of our problem. But anyways, that's what we're going to do. I'll bring you guys along the adventure here. So anyways, we'll start here by removing the sending unit. I've already got it knocked loose here. I pulled it out just the other day. But go here and just knock that ring off. And this way you can really see the rust damage in this car as well. Pull the sending unit out. Get this thing to come on out there. It's a little tricky. About getting the angle just right. There we go. Just like that. And so yeah, you can see just how much rust is on the sending unit itself. And unfortunately these things are no longer manufactured. So I actually got this one freed up last time I had it. I got the float kind of working. But we are going to do a rust treatment on it as well, so if I can clean it up a little bit. What I may have to do is put a generic sending unit in this tank. But anyways, that's you can kind of get an idea of the rust damage that's in this tank just from looking at this sending unit. It's not pretty. But anyways, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that stopper we bought right here. This is a number 9.5 stopper. Hope it's the right size. I had one I used on my other tank and I lost it and I couldn't find it anywhere. We'll see if that'll plug in. Yeah, that plugs in that hole right there. That's what we want to do. So we're going to put that stopper in the hole where our sending unit was. That way we don't drop anything in the tank here while we work. But they'll also stay in there once we do put the water in there with our agent, and that'll take care of our problem. But let's go and start moving the lines here. That line there feels like it's loose already. Oh, that's interesting. And these hoses here probably there's that one. I don't know about these. There we go. There's our other line here. These are your evaporative lines is what these are here. Get all these pulled. They're still pretty flexible. I think they're okay. So there's our upper hoses there. Now we'll go underneath the car and remove the other lines as well as our filler neck. So let's do that. Also, before I forget, I will show you how this panel fits on there. This panel just goes over it like this right here. And it's held in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws in total, making up this little accessory panel there. But that's how that works. So let's move on underneath the car now. So I'm going to show you guys the best I can here. It's not easy looking under the car here, but this is our filler neck. We got to remove it right here, and I've got the gas down. There's no gas in it hardly at all. So you want to make sure you have the gas down because this is right at the end, the bottom of the tank. So if you pull this off with a lot of gas, you're going to have a mess. So we're going to pull this. We've got to pull these nuts right here to hold the tank. We also got to take off this bracket here in the front. There's this bracket here, and their fuel lines for your pump is right here at the bottom of the tank. So we got to pull those off, and then probably going to move this little shroud right here around the wheel, a splash guard, so we can get to the tank better. But that's what we're going to do, and we'll see what we can do. Definitely got to service her rear end. The differential looks like it's actually got some leaking going on, so it may have a seal gone bad. You can see it looks really wet, so I think we're going to have to investigate that too while I have it here. But we have it for a couple of, probably at least a week. I'm going to take care of some things for it needs besides just the fuel tank. That's one of the things I just noticed that we need to address, because it's probably got a bad pinion seal. That's what I'm guessing, but we'll have to look at it and see. Don't look like the inner wheels are wet. This is a solid axle, so I don't see any fluid on the or any gear oil on the actual wheels themselves, but it looks definitely like the differential's leaking. So it's probably a pinion seal. That's what I'm guessing. So we may have to replace the pinion seal in this car, it looks like to me. But anyways, we'll focus on the fuel tank right now. So I'm going to remove this bracket, pull the fuel lines here, pull the sending unit filler neck here, and not sending unit but the filler neck. Take the bolts out, drop this tank, and then we can start our process here. Alright, so now I got this tank out of the car, and as you can hear, it sounds like a rain stick. Do it this other way. So we definitely got some rust in there. So it's a massive tank. I've had to reverse things a little bit here. So on the Z tank, the 280Z from 76, it has a 2-inch filler opening, and this one here is 1.5. So I had to use a cap here, and that's what I'll be using to cap off our filler neck when I do the rust treatment in here. But anyways, let's move on to the flushing, and I'm going to start just with water first and flush it with some water, and then we'll start the actual treatment. So anyways, this is looking down inside the the tank here, just what the best I can. You can see all the rust that's in there. I'm going to do this the best I can. But the filler neck, you can really hear it. And then there's a lot of trash. I wish I could get that in. Maybe you can see it down in there. It's pretty bad though. But anyways, I'll going to start flushing this out with water, and then we'll put the treatment in it. A bunch of nasty stuff coming out of this thing for sure. Try and get all the large particles broke loose first with this water, and then we'll start the treatment. You can see on the ground here all the nastiness, all the rust particles and dirt. And I have all the ports covered up. Had to stretch that one out. That, and then there's our front fix, and we got the fuel pump pickup here covered as well. We're ready to start putting our fluid in here. So I'm going to do 4 gallons of water and then the gallon of treatment. Alright, so now it's just a waiting game. We'll see how this turns out. So now I got this tank flipped over, and it's getting dark out, so I can show you the inside of this tank. So I've had the bottom soak all night, and I flipped the tank over, and now we'll look at the inside here. I've got this loosened, and I'll show you guys what this is looking like inside here. Get my flashlight. As you can see right away, just from the mouth, it's already looking better. Let me stick my light down here, and you guys can start to see how clean this tank is actually looking. I'm going to try to do this, let me see if I can extend this a little bit more here. Get that light more toward the back. Maybe you guys can see it. There you go. Still see the rust line, that's where the fluid was. But I'm going to have to do it to the side as well. I've got about 6 gallons in this thing right now. As you can see, there's more plastic in this tank. That's actually a plastic baffle right there. But look around in there, you can kind of see it starting to look a little bit better. And of course, like I said, the tank's upside down, so now our stopper and everything's down here on the bottom. So really just the top is what I focused on here first. You can see just how good that's all looking. And of course I'm going to let it soak again. But it's looking clean. So that's after day 1. Alright, it's several days later here, and this tank's looking really good in there. We still got to do some work to the top half of it. Try and go into that way. But, go down this way, see if I can see it better. You can see just how clean everything looks now in there. Unfortunately, I think this tank has been sandblasted before, so it's already etched. I think that's what caused a lot of the rust in this thing. Still got some spots that don't look great. I'm going to do the top half some more, because if we look at the top half, you might can see it through here. You can get where you can see it. You can still see a lot of rust when we get to the top, especially on this side here. That's what we haven't got yet. The bottom looks great. That's our pickup right there. A little plastic circular piece with the pickup lines in it. That's like the sump of this tank. So let's see if I can find a better way to show you guys. If I go to the front here, I got this light that's flexible. Yep, so we're making progress on it, but it still isn't, it's not in very good shape. Unfortunately, it's got a lot of rust in it. But we're eating it up. We're getting there, but I think we're going to have to let it soak a little longer on the top half. Alright, I got this bucket here, actually a barrel, and I'm going to dump this tank over into this barrel, and I can reuse this rust treatment if it's still active. So let me get this tank over here and we'll get it dumped here. Now just show you what came out of this thing. That's pretty nasty. We'll look in the tank here in a minute. So here's a look inside after extra treatment time. As we saw the other day, the bottom looked good, but I think we still got this rust in the top. Just don't think we're going to be able to get it out of there. I think it's just too thick. As you can see right there where the line is. It's not bad. It's way better than what it was. I'm trying to get a good view in there, but I really can't. I actually go back to the top real quick. This way. Yeah, so you can kind of see it right there. Yeah, so we can still see a little bit of rust ridge right in there, but that's after a week of treatment. So I don't think it's going to get any better than that. Like I said, it's way better than what it was though. You can see the bottom real good. You can see the sump. Yeah, I think it's about as good as we're going to get it. I'm going to dry it real good, and then we'll do put it back together. And I'm going to run some water treatment for the gas through it once, but it should be pretty dry by the time I'm done. So now we're off to drying this tank here. We're going to use a shop vac and push air through it. And I'm going to use these surgical pliers I bought at Harbor Freight just to take a napkin and go in here and wipe out the inside. I'm going to try and get everything to the hole where the sink unit goes so I can reach down here and get all the remaining puddles of water out. And then the shop vac will just kind of help push air through it and help dry it a little quicker. Plus it's in the sunshine, so the sun will kind of bake this thing too since it's black. But hopefully we'll get this thing dry here pretty quick and we can start putting it back in the car. I also got some of this stuff right here we're going to be putting in with the fuel just to kind of help. It's a water remover agent, and we're going to put that in there with the fresh fuel. And also got a fresh a fuel filter for it, and so we should be set after this, hopefully. It's going to be way better than it was anyways, even if it does have a little bit of rust particle in there. At least it's not going to have the big chunks and all the nastiness that's going on that we had issues with this car. But anyways, let's get going here. Alright, I now have the tank back in here. Got all the panels put back on, and I actually primed the system and it fires right up. As you can see, our tank is now back in there. That's just water dripping there, but that is officially done on the fuel tank. I also did something else for her too. I actually re-chromed the badge here for her. But I'll show you what came out of this thing. So I replaced both filters, or I took one of my filters out. This is that temporary filter I put in line with the fuel tank because we had so much rust. You can see just how nasty that is. If you look over here, you can see what came out of it. This nasty stuff. But for anybody that wants to know what filter I used, I forgot to share this on my other video, but it's a Wix 33299 filter. It's a 7/16 mouth on both ends, and this will work between the fuel tank and your fuel pump on a 280Z 200SX. I'm sure other Datsuns that use electric fuel pump, this would fit as well. Anyways, that's what I used. That saved our new pump, and you can see it was clean fuel coming out, so it did its job just fine. I also replaced the primary fuel filter, and that don't sound good. I don't know if it was even doing anything or not, but it was full of junk too. So I put a new fuel filter in there as well. And like I said, I just took this one out and I put a new line to replace it. Now so we got the tank nice and clean, we don't have to worry about getting the pump all gunked up. And here's a look at my 280Z fuel tank, the one I did the same treatment on 4 years ago. And I just recently pulled it out of the car because of course I'm getting it ready to fit into the 260 over here. But we'll just look down inside this thing and you can see just how great this tank looks inside. And this is after I've ran it 4 years with fuel. This has had 10% ethanol fuel in it as well, because I had a point where I couldn't get the ethanol free. But yeah, you can just see how clean, nice. And that's after using the exact same treatment I'm doing to the 200SX tank. And like I said, it doesn't etch the metal, so there's no reason to coat this thing or anything. And like I said, I drove this car for 4 years after I did this treatment, and this tank was in about the same shape as the one we've got now with the 200SX. So just going to show you that real quick. So that shows you that this stuff really does work and it holds up. It's not just a gimmick of, oh yeah, you fix this and then that's it. This is a tried and tested product for me, and just really happy with it. Here's another angle of the tank as well here. You can see I got it on its side. We can see all the way across the baffles there. Looking down in there, but you can see just how clean this tank is. That stuff really does work. It works really well. Of course, the sending unit still looks pretty bad because that's the original sending unit. I had to just kind of clean it up as well. Because you can find the sending units for the 78 tanks, but this is 76. And the sending unit on this one is on the side where the 77, 78Zs are up here, and they redesigned the tank a little bit. But anyways, just thought you guys might like to see that. I appreciate you guys watching, and that'll probably be it for this car. I don't know if I'll see it again for anything else, but that was the last thing I really had to do to make this car roadworthy for her, to make sure it was going to make, you know, decent trips and stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and there'll be more to come here very soon on the 260Z, and I'm sure my 280Z 2+2 will have some more videos as I start taking things apart on it to go in the 260. The 260 is getting to the body shop here very, very soon. So looking forward to that, getting this car painted and all the body work done. It's going to be really nice. But anyways, guys, thanks again.